G'day guys, my name is Jaden, welcome back to my channel. We're at LAX, Tom Bradley International. Today we're going to fly Qantas A380 in premium economy from LAX to Sydney, Australia. We are on standby for business class, so basically what happened was we were booked to fly business yesterday, we missed it, now they've only got premium left. So unless someone misses their flight later in business class, we're going to be in premium. Now without further ado, let's head inside and check in. In today's video, I'll also be covering the connecting flight from Sydney to Jakarta. Yesterday when we missed our flight, I booked a room at Hilton LAX. Just now, I was able to get a late checkout at 2 PM. We then took the free shuttle from the Hilton Hotel to LAX Tom Bradley International. Qantas operate daily flights from Los Angeles to Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. Now all those flights leave in the evening, but the airline is generous enough to open the check-in counters at 2:30 PM, so that passengers like me who don't live in Los Angeles could check out from their hotels and come to LAX early and check in for Qantas. We started lining up at the business class lane 8 hours before departure. Qantas fly the A380 daily from Sydney and sometimes from Melbourne as well, and those planes have first class on board. So if you're flying in first class, or you've got Qantas Platinum or oneworld Emerald, there's a shorter lane for you than business class. Check-in for Qantas flights to Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane started nice and early at 2:30. We're checked in and bags are checked all the way to Jakarta via Sydney, and we've got boarding passes for both flights. We're now going to go through TSA, the security check, and start our LAX oneworld lounge hopping journey with our Qantas business class boarding pass. Tom Bradley International security checkpoint is located one level above the check-in. I reckon for LAX it wasn't too busy today. We waited about 10 minutes in the queue. Tom Bradley was Los Angeles' longest serving mayor. This iconic terminal is named after him. This terminal started its operation back in June 1984, just in time for the Summer Olympics. This might not be the most beautiful airport terminal in the world, but I really like it. There's something to it. It might be the high ceiling, it might be the hustle and bustle, and with the LED screen, Tom Bradley International Terminal feels like an indoor version of Times Square. Circling back to lounge hopping, with our Qantas International Business Class boarding pass, we're eligible to use any of the oneworld lounges at this airport, except for the Qantas International First Class Lounge. That's reserved for oneworld Emerald members and first class passengers. Our first stop would be in Terminal 4, the American Airlines Flagship Lounge. Once you've cleared security, Tom Bradley International is connected to Terminals 4 to 8. So as a result, we're walking to Terminal 4 right now and we won't need to go through security. It's very lounge hopping friendly. So the walk from Tom Bradley to Terminal 4 takes about 7 to 8 minutes. Terminal 4 opened back in 1961 and visibly, it's a lot older than Tom Bradley International Terminal. American Airlines international and domestic flights depart from this terminal, including flight AA73 bound for Sydney. So there's one entrance here for two lounges, the Admiral's Club and the Flagship Lounge. The annual American Airlines Lounge Pass gets you into the Admiral's Club. If you're flying oneworld international business, including Qantas business class, or you've got oneworld Sapphire or Emerald status, you can use the Flagship Lounge, which is nicer than the Admiral's Club. For other passengers, you may pay a walk-in fee of $150. The American Airlines Flagship Lounge is technically a business class grade lounge, and compared to many international business class lounges worldwide, this one is pretty good, definitely above average. My favorite thing about this lounge would be the catering. At the buffet you've got tons of options. Los Angeles is a very international city, very multicultural, and you've got flights to many countries in the world, and the buffet totally reflects that. It offers many international flavors and cuisines. When you come into the Flagship Lounge, you'll notice how many passengers hold a glass of champagne. That's because once you've passed the reception, you'll find a champagne stand. A friendly attendant will offer you a glass of Piper High Seek or Mimosa. We've tried almost every food item at the buffet. Our favorite would be the pesto shrimp or prawns. Overall, the Flagship Lounge is amazing. You get excellent service from the lounge attendants, the shower rooms are well equipped, champagne is good, Piper High Seek, and the food delicious. If I have to highlight one drawback, it would be the lack of barista coffee. All they've got here is the espresso machine. We're now going to make our way back to Tom Bradley International, and we're going to check out the oneworld lounge at Tom Bradley. There are some displays between Tom Bradley and Terminal 4. Those were the uniforms worn by flight attendants at Trans World Airlines, TWA. Sadly, the airline doesn't exist anymore. In 2001, TWA was acquired by American Airlines. Through acquisitions, today American Airlines is the largest airline by the numbers of employees and passengers carried. We made it back to Tom Bradley, where we started earlier. So the One World Lounge is located one level above the boarding gates. Unlike the One World lounges that you'll find in Seoul and Amsterdam, the one in Los Angeles is one of its kind. It's managed by Qantas, so you'll see employees wearing Qantas uniform, but it's also jointly operated by Qantas, British Airways and Cathay. This sets a really interesting vibe in this lounge. Opened 10 years ago in 2014, you can see that the furniture looks like the ones in the Qantas lounges in Australia, particularly the ones that haven't been refurbished lately. Throughout the One World Lounge in Los Angeles, you'll find many orchid flower. That just screams Cathay Pacific to me. Similarly, you'll find orchid flowers in older Cathay Pacific lounges globally. So looking at the buffet section at the One World Lounge, I prefer the one at American Airlines Flagship. Don't get me wrong, the food is quite good here, particularly the vegetable soup and tiramisu. This tiramisu is mouth-watering, but it's clear to me that this lounge caters more towards the Western palate. Earlier, I said furniture is from Qantas, flour from Cathay, the food is so British Airways. As for the wine selection, it's about 50% from Australia and 50% locally from California. They haven't got any real champagne here, but they've got sparkling from California. On a positive note, at the bar you can order barista-made coffee. Here's an oat milk flat white, and I got my mum an April spritz. So food, I think slightly better in the American Airlines Flagship Lounge in Terminal 4, but for beverages, except for the champagne bit, One World does it better. For a massive airport lounge, the bar in the One World Lounge is severely understaffed. There's only one person doing coffee and cocktails. Before our long-haul flight to Sydney, Australia, we're going to take a shower. As you can see, the room is quite dark because the light bulb went off. So the lounge attendant did tell me if I didn't want to wait, I could use this one. If I want a brighter room, I need to wait for a while. But the light bulb aside, it's still a really basic bathroom. Reminds me of the ones in the Qantas domestic lounges. What I do like is that they've got two cot hooks. I also like that they've got a chair/luggage rack, so I don't need to bend down to get stuff from my suitcase. And what I really dislike is that there's no toilet seat cover. I just finished taking a shower. There's still about an hour until our flight to Sydney, Australia starts boarding. So we're gonna chill here for a bit. Those lounge chairs are super comfy. Unfortunately, there's no power supply near the lounge chairs. I need to charge my phone, and for that I'll need to sit at the sofa. You'll find PowerPoints behind the curtains. Before long, it's time to head back downstairs and head to gate 152 for our flight to Sydney. Tom Bradley International is currently hustling and bustling. Many long-haul international carriers depart from this terminal, and quite a few of them, including Asiana, Korean Air, Qantas and Emirates, use the A380, and therefore the gates are quite far apart from each other. We just made it to gate 152. I'll explain the boarding procedure. First to board is first class passengers and One World Emerald members including Qantas Platinum. That's followed by business class and Qantas Gold members as well as One World Sapphire. Next would be premium economy passengers. Last but not least, economy class. Here's our aircraft today that'll bring us to Sydney, Australia. A 16-year-old Qantas A380 Victor Hotel Oscar Quebec Delta. This aircraft has 14 first class seats, 70 business, 60 premium economy and 341 economy. Upgrade your whole. Mum and I are currently holding premium economy boarding passes, and we both just got denied boarding, which could only mean one thing. We're gonna get regraded back to business class. Look at how happy Mummy is. Although we're gonna be seated a few rows apart, at least we're gonna get lie flat seats.
Hello, how are you? Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
That's good, you're 28A, so just down this way, Sal. Thank you.
Welcome on board Qantas A380 Upper Deck. On the upper deck, at the front you'll find a lounge, and then you'll find a massive business class cabin in a 1-to-1 configuration. I'm seated at the last row today, at seat 28A. Behind me, you'll find lavatories and the premium economy cabin. Right now, I'm unpacking my suitcase and I'm putting stuff like my book, bottle of water, into the bins located next to my seat. So during the flight, I don't need to open the overhead locker bin. For those seated in business, you'll receive a welcome drink shortly after boarding. I went for a glass of champagne to celebrate the regrade back to business.
Sean McLaughlin, the customer service manager. My fellow Onboard manager leading the team in the main cabin, still Bill. Today we're under the command of Captain Justin Carter, First Officer Simon Robertson, our 2 Second Officer Ashley Trenton-Horn and Sam Pennyman. We'd like to welcome back our Qantas, our oneworld freedom flyers, along with our code-share partners with us. As you are settling in, please place large bags either under the seat in front of you or in the overhead lockers. If you are seated at a bulkhead or in an exit row, all baggage needs to be placed in the overhead lockers. It's now time to switch your phone and any other devices to flight mode. You're welcome to use your handheld devices during takeoff. Now, laptops and other large devices need to be put away until we're in the air. Devices without flight mode cannot be used at any time during the flight. If you are seated in a premium economy, please keep the small pocket below your screen empty during takeoff and also landing. That won't take long. Good news, fast flight time, 14 hours and 15 minutes, should still have us arriving into Sydney on schedule at 10 minutes past 8 Friday morning. If you'd like to set your watches now, the current time is 4:50 PM, so 4:50 in the afternoon on Thursday afternoon in Sydney, about 8:10 Friday morning. Expecting smooth flying conditions, although we do ask that we keep the seatbelts at least comfortably fastened and well seated in case we do encounter any unexpected turbulence. We won't disturb you until we approach Sydney. We'll update the arrival information. Expecting a temperature of around 15 degrees Celsius, around 60 Fahrenheit for our arrival, and some possible light showers. I'll leave you now in the capable hands of Sean, Customer Service Manager, Estelle, your Customer Service Supervisor, and their lovely crew. And again, welcome.
On today's flight, there'll be 2 full meals, a dinner after takeoff and a breakfast before landing into Sydney. For breakfast, you can fill in this card and hand it to your cabin crew. The purpose of this card is so the crew would know whether to wake you up or not for breakfast. If you want to be woken up for breakfast, they'll only wake you up when the food is ready. This gives you more time to sleep. So I just passed this card to the cabin crew, and they just gave me the pajamas for business class.
Laptops not in a bag must also be placed in the overhead locker. If you are seated at a bulkhead or an exit row, all bags need to go in overhead lockers. Thank you.
Today, I'm flying on an Airbus H125 helicopter. And you're in a Qantas Airbus A380.
I would like to apologise in advance that there will be no takeoff footage due to the wet windows.
Your cooperation with this policy is greatly appreciated. At this time, I invite you to sit back, relax. If there's anything we can do for you throughout the night, please don't hesitate to ask.
When the seatbelt sign went off, I went to seat 24K to say hi to Mum. A few minutes later, she came to 28A to interfere with my TV. While she's here, I'm gonna make her hold up the menu to a perfect angle so you can see. For dinner, I'm gonna go for the sweet corn soup. Mum's gonna go for the halibut. This is a late departure, so there's no starter or appetizer. Most passengers would have eaten in the lounge. I'll now quickly go through the in-flight entertainment. On Qantas A380, there's no Wi-Fi, so there's only the in-flight magazine and the TV in front of you. Qantas does offer quite a few TV shows and movie selection, including Australian movies, European, Hollywood and Bollywood. This flight was taken back in October 2024, and those were the options available. You can find a button for the in-flight map at the bottom of the screen. Flight time today is approximately 15 hours. It's a late departure, plus the fact that we're going to fly over the international date line. We're going to arrive 2 days later. The in-flight service would soon begin. The customer service manager of today's flight is currently in business class and greeting every single passenger, a gesture that is not needed but appreciated.
Mr. Moore, how are you? I'm Sean, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
You
too.
well?
Our cabin crew have started serving dinner at the front rows. It's currently 1 hour after departure. Local time LA 12:20. Tray table is big and sturdy.
Would you care for any wine with your meal? Not me.
I decided to go for a glass of white with my dinner. Today's selection, they've got Chardonnay and Riesling. I went for the Riesling from Clear Valley in South Australia. So the table has been set up. We've got bread, a bowl of salad, a glass of still water and a glass of Riesling. For bread, you can choose seeded or white. Salad was good and fresh. There was vinegar oil added to it already. Here comes my main course. It's a plant-based meal, sweet corn and basil soup with charred corn and tomato salsa. This was absolutely delicious. I liked it very much. The bowl was big enough. It was sufficient to be a main course. Also the white bread went really well with it. For the last few sips, I decided to add some pepper. I just finished the soup. It was a good soup. The lovely cabin crew just took my dessert order and they replaced my cutlery. For dessert, I went for ice cream and fruit platter. I prefer the ice cream sandwich that they serve on some business class flights from Australia, but this Häagen-Dazs ice cream would do. The fruit platter was also really good, very fresh. There's cantaloupe or rock melon, pineapples, blueberries, raspberries, and watermelon. I'm really satisfied with the light dinner today. I look forward to the breakfast 10 hours or so from now. On Emirates A380, they've got shower rooms at the front of the upper deck. On Qantas, they've got a social area or a lounge available to business class and first class passengers. It's a very lovely little space and it feels like you're in a speakeasy or an underground bar. There's space for about 8 to 10 passengers. Because Mum and I are seated a few rows apart, this spot is perfect for us to reunite. Here you can ask for attendant service, you can ask for a drink or coffee, and obviously service would be suspended during turbulence, but fortunately you won't need to return to your seat as they've got seat belts here. So I just requested a cup of oat flat white and here it is. For those seated in first and business, Qantas have espresso machines on board, so it's not any filtered coffee. When I was in the lounge, the cabin crew, who got me the coffee, set up my bed for me. So for those seated in business, they've got mattress topper. I'm about to go to sleep, I'm just gonna brush my teeth quickly, and I brought this bottle of water with me, which every business passenger has. I just put my seat into the bed mode, 180-degree flat. Every bed is 2 meter long, which is significantly longer than many other beds on other airlines. I've just lied down, it's really comfortable. The pillow you get in business class is really big, it's definitely gonna help me to sleep better. We currently got 12 hours until landing, plenty of time to sleep. And under normal circumstances, they'll serve us breakfast 2 to 3 hours before landing. So if you're having both dinner and breakfast, you'll get a minimum of 8 hours sleep. I'm not that sleepy yet, so I'm gonna switch off the light and watch a movie. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now. See you later. Eight hours into the flight, I woke up, and we're currently over the Pacific Ocean, literally middle of nowhere. I certainly can go back to sleep, but I'm gonna head down to the lounge to do some stretching to reduce the chance of getting swollen feet after landing. My mum is still sleeping, so I'll be on my own. Currently there are 3 people in the lounge, including myself, a lady also doing stretching, and a kid building Lego, or someone from Adelaide would say, Lego. In the lounge, you'll find a mini snack bar. Inside you'll find sandwiches, biscuits, crisps, and fruits. 6 hours into landing, I'm gonna sleep again. If you're new to my channel, I'm so glad you made it here. Every single week, I upload a new trip report onto my YouTube channel, so be sure to hit that subscribe and bell button so you don't miss out again. You can also follow my social media accounts, like on Instagram and Facebook to keep up to date with my travels. And for those who really enjoy watching my videos and you want to contribute to my travels, you can do so via PayPal Me or Patreon. Please check out the links in the description box for more information. Thank you for considering. I just reunited with my mum in the lounge. There's about 15 to 20 minutes left until they start the breakfast service, so we're just having some coffee and biscuits in the lounge.
I can't keep apologising.
When they come face to face.
I can't.
Breakfast service started 12 hours after takeoff or 3 hours before landing. I went for the hot breakfast, free-range scrambled eggs with Irish bacon, grilled tomatoes and mushroom. On the side, I went for the fruit again, and for drink, I went for English breakfast tea with oat milk. The hot breakfast looks really good and appetizing. Unfortunately, it didn't taste like so. The texture of the egg was weird. It felt like eating tofu. On the brighter side, before my connecting flight to Jakarta, I'll have another hot breakfast in the airport lounge. This flight went by really fast. I slept a lot. The seat was comfortable, the bed was also comfortable, cabin crew was fantastic. I really liked the lounge space at the front of the aircraft. The only thing I didn't like about this flight was the scrambled eggs for breakfast, but that was a very minor thing. But also funny how the scrambled eggs wasn't actually good. Before landing into Australia, you're forced to watch the custom video about what you can't bring into the country. Our cabin crew are now preparing for landing, and passengers are changing back to their normal clothes. We'll be landing now. Please enjoy the approach and landing into Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport, and I'll talk to you again once we're on the ground.
All passengers and crew be seated and fasten seatbelts.
Minutes for those of you near the windows there, and then once we're on our final approach, the people on the left should then get a good view.
Local time in Sydney is 8:09 a.m. on Friday the 25th of October. We ask that you remain seated with your seatbelt firmly fastened until the seatbelt sign is off. As always, smoking, vaping and use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Remain seated. We just have a few issues to resolve on the opening of the doors, so if you can please remain seated, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
A very good morning from Sydney, Australia. We've got 7 hours here until we board our flight QF41 for Jakarta. Many passengers just arrived into Sydney. There's a long queue for immigration. Luckily, we don't need to go through that. Unlike the United States, when you're connecting between international flights here in Australia, there's no need to go through immigration and customs. All you need to go through is security screening. It's a very similar process in Hong Kong, London Heathrow, Narita and Haneda. Security didn't take too long, about 5 minutes. We're now upstairs at the departure level. Like downstairs, there are so many passengers here leaving Australia, but upstairs feels a lot more pleasant. There's a lot more space, and you've got high window and ceiling, bringing natural light into the terminal. At Sydney International, only Qantas operate lounges for oneworld. They have 2 lounges here, a first class lounge and a business class. Hello, welcome to the shower room in the Qantas International Business Lounge. After a long haul flight from LA, all I want right now is not breakfast, but a shower rather. The shower rooms in Sydney look a lot nicer, though also a bit old. It is rumoured that in 2025, Qantas would finally renovate the Qantas International Business Class Lounge at Sydney Terminal 1. Frequent flyers have been saying it for years. It needs to be renovated. The lounge is super busy at the moment. In the coming hours, you've got dozens of flights departing for Asia. You might find it a bit difficult to find a seat right now that is comfortable. In the past, there just wouldn't be enough seats. But since then, Qantas has expanded the footprint of this business class lounge. Still, it'll be better if they renovate this lounge. The carpet and the furniture are tiring, and the sofas aren't big enough if you're trying to use your laptop. It's comfortable enough if you're just sitting on it, but when you try to use your laptop and try to type something, you've got no space for your arms. I didn't have a good breakfast on the QF12 flight from Los Angeles, so let's check out what they've got here. So there's scrambled eggs and hash browns, as well as sausages and baked beans. Here you've got fruit and yogurt. They all look pretty good, but I'll eat first and then judge. To go with my breakfast, I went to the coffee station and ordered flat white with oat milk. Food is heaps better this time. The scrambled eggs was creamy and had the correct texture. Hash browns were warm and crunchy. An excellent breakfast. And in Australia, you definitely can't go wrong with a coffee made by barista. Mum's going light and healthy. She's only having fruits for breakfast. The Qantas International Business Class Lounge is located one level below the First Class Lounge. Both lounges offer amazing tarmac view, facing the runway and Sydney CBD, but you get a slightly better view in the First Class Lounge due to less obstructions. The lounge is getting busier and busier, but eventually it'll quiet down. I went to the barista again, and this time I went for a chai latte. It was my go-to drink in a cafe during COVID-19 lockdown. Here's my friend Jordan, by the way, from Sydney. We literally bumped into each other in the lounge. He's flying to Singapore today on QF1. At around noontime, 12 PM, they started offering lunch at the buffet. Today's selection, they've got curry and fried rice, pretty tasty. And there's also an a la carte menu. There's only one item to order, a pasta with ragu bolognese and parmesan cheese. I couldn't help but got myself another chai latte. The barista in this lounge makes it really well. So that's a wrap for my lounge visit in Sydney. I spent about 6 hours here. Now it's time to go to Indonesia. Our flight QF41 would board through gate number 37. On my walk to gate number 37, I spotted this Fiji Airways A350, bound for Nandi. I've got several Fiji Airways trip reports on my channel. Be sure to go check it out. For our flight to Jakarta, there's no group boarding. First aboard would be business class, platinum and gold members, and then followed by the rest of the aircraft. At the gate next to us, going to Paris, there's a trial for group boarding. It's business and platinum members first, and then gold members, followed by premium economy and economy. By the way, here's some information about the aircraft that will take us to Jakarta. Also 16 years old, like the A380 that flew us from LA to Sydney. This is an Airbus A330-200, Victor Hotel, Echo Bravo Kilo.
Thank you, sir. How do you do?
Hello.
Thank
you.
Yes, please. Thank you. Just so Masako.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. Welcome. Just cross over and to the left.
Yep. Welcome on board. My seat, 5K, right hand side of the aircraft. This time round, for the welcome drink, I went for sparkling water. Champagne was also offered. On your seat, you'll find a mattress topper, a blanket and a pillow. My mum is now placing her mattress topper on her seat. Now for this flight to Jakarta, it's a day flight, so there's no breakfast or breakfast card. Here's a look at the in-flight menu. A full lunch would be served after takeoff, and there'll be a light meal before landing. The A330 has a very similar business class product to the A380 and 787. This business class suite on the A330 was actually a prototype for the seats you find on A380, but the differences are quite small, at least in my opinion. But overall, it should be better on the A380 and Dreamliner.
And the team today, we will be looking after you. We'd also like to welcome back our Qantas and oneworld frequent flyers along with our Qantas Business Award members on this flight to Jakarta. It's great to have you with us. Kami senang terbang bersama Anda. Mohon letakkan tas Anda di bawah kursi yang berada di depan Anda atau dalam kompartmen atas bila Anda duduk di bagian sekat atau baris pintu keluar. Seluruh bagasi harus diletakkan dalam kursi.
Fasten your seatbelt onto taking the seat.
pesawat berada di udara, perangkat tanpa mode penerbangan tidak diperbolehkan untuk dipakai kapanpun.
Thank you.
Place, Litchfield National Park, just outside of Darwin. We all have a place that fills our heart.
In the unlikely event of an emergency, you should be familiar with the brace position appropriate to your seat.
If you lose your phone or mobile device, please avoid moving your seat or trying to retrieve it, as phones and tablets can get damaged.
If oxygen is required during the flight,
It's really windy today in Sydney. You can see the grass movement.
We'll be inbound here in just a few minutes, and in 7 hours' time we'll have you arriving in Jakarta on schedule, where the weather is not too bad, just a few scattered clouds, possibility of a shower, light winds, no temperature of 29 degrees centigrade. We'll speak to you just prior thereof. We'll post in the meantime, smoke, relax, and have a fantastic flight.
This A330 offers the same in-flight entertainment system as the A380. In addition to that, this aircraft has Wi-Fi. To access the internet, simply watch a short advertisement and you'll enjoy free internet access. Internet is available when we're flying over Australia, and that covers more than half the flight duration. And this really goes to show how big Australia is. There's no limit as to how many devices you can connect to, which is fantastic. I'm connected on my laptop and also my iPhone. In-flight service started shortly after takeoff. It begins with a drink of choice and warm nuts. For my drink of choice, I went for a glass of mimosa. Across the aisle, my mum went for Baileys on ice. We'll also cheers on that. To enter Indonesia, there are two online forms that you need to fill out. First is the digital arrival card. The second one is a health declaration card, and that's due to the rise of monkeypox cases around the region. The lovely cabin crew just set up my table, so we got a tablecloth, cutlery, salad, focaccia and butter, and a glass of water. I went for sparkling. For starter, I went for the tandoori chicken skewer with flatbread, pickles and yogurt dressing. A very interesting in-flight meal indeed. Now let's compare this to the satays you get on Singapore Airlines and Malaysia Airlines. The chicken pieces are humongous. The meat was tender. Oh my god, so good. The yogurt dressing goes really well with it. So we still got about 2 to 3 hours to go before we leave the continental Australia. That means we still got Wi-Fi for a few hours. So starter was amazing, but the same couldn't be said for the main course. I was really disappointed. It just doesn't look good, does it? It's a lifeless bowl of noodles. Shocking. Across the aisle, my mum went for the roast chicken with polenta and green beans. Looks a lot better, doesn't it? Unfortunately, the meat was a bit dry, nothing like the chicken skewer. Fortunately, dessert was a lot better. I went for 3 things: panna cotta, ice cream sandwich, and fruit platter. All 3 items were delicious. Fruits were fresh and juicy. Ice cream sandwich, uniquely Australian and delicious, crunchy on the outside, creamy and cold inside. The crew member also handed me several Lindt chocolate balls. Qantas actually made it quite easy for passengers to get up in business class. Just grab this and get up easily. Here's a quick lavatory tour. There's only one in business class, and it's located behind the cockpit on the left hand side of the plane. We got 2 cot hooks. Amazing! I just returned to my seat 5k and placed the mattress topper on my seat. Unlike the A380, there's no lounge on board this A330, so there's no self-serve mini fridge, but if you want fruit and snacks, you can ask the cabin crew.
X is arriving. Tamara.
What the hell are you doing here?
So I continue watching the TV show that I left off on QF12. Because I actually slept quite a bit on my previous flight, I don't feel sleepy at all right now, so I just kept eating and eating. To keep myself entertained, I took advantage of the free Wi-Fi and looked on my social media, watched some content on the TV, and of course non-stop tea and coffee. About an hour before landing, we already lost the Wi-Fi, and the second meal service has commenced. So there's no starter for the second meal. I went for the main course, stir-fried tiger prawns with spicy sambal sauce, snake beans, and fried shallots on rice. It's a rather tiny portion. It was only a few hours ago we had lunch. The crew was kind enough to give me a second option, the chicken and tomato and lettuce sandwich. I'm now satisfied. Both of these options tasted a lot better than the noodles that we got for lunch. The cabin crew on this flight have been incredibly friendly, very proactive and attentive service. They kept offering us food and drinks. I also got into a conversation with the cabin crew and they gave me souvenirs to bring home with. It's been a really long journey with Qantas, all the way from Los Angeles to Jakarta via Sydney. It's been really fun, had plenty of chai latte, flat white, and other coffee and tea. I also consumed a lot of food. As you could probably gather, Qantas business class is not perfect, but overall it's pretty good. We're soon landing into Jakarta. Thank you so very much for watching today's extra long video. I hope that you enjoyed. Now please don't forget to like, comment and share, and most importantly please don't forget to subscribe. It'll really motivate me to make more videos like this one. Now please enjoy the approach and landing into Jakarta, and I'll talk to you again after landing.
time is 5:58 in the evening of Friday, the 25th of October. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt sign is off. As always, smoking, vaping, and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. And please take care when opening overhead lockers as bags may have moved and could fall out. Before leaving, please ensure that you check your seat and your seat pockets for any personal items. And if you can reach your mobile phone, you can turn off flight mode now. On behalf of Captain Martin Sewell and all officers here at Qantas and Oneworld, thank you for choosing to fly with us. If you're visiting Jakarta, we hope you enjoy your stay. And of course, to those returning, welcome home. Thank you and good evening. Selamat datang di Jakarta. Waktu setempat menunjukkan pukul 6 sore hari Jumat, tanggal 25 Oktober. Mohon untuk tetap duduk dengan memakai sabuk pengaman Anda sampai tanda sabuk pengaman telah dimatikan. Anda dilarang
Originally, I've planned to stay in Jakarta for at least 2 nights, but remember how I missed a flight in LA the day before? As a result of that, I've only got 12 hours in Jakarta. Tomorrow, I'll be flying Malaysia Airlines from Jakarta to Hong Kong via Kuala Lumpur. That video is already available, be sure to go check it out. Tonight, we're staying at the Jakarta Airport Hotel. So that's it guys, thank you so much again for watching. It's been a long video to edit. A big shout out and thank you to all my PayPal Me and Patreon members for your contribution to my channel. It is greatly appreciated. As always, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you all next week. Bye!